now, here's your host, Miss Charlene.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Miss Charlene, and you're having lunch with the Finance Bunch. And today I have in my presence, I have Mr. Gregory Doomanis. And Gregory is a financial planner with RSC Business Group. And today we're going to talk about taking the fear out of creating a budget. We're going to make it not something that you are afraid to do, but something more that you rely on as a way of life. Because I think without a budget, what do we have? We have chaos. So Gregory, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I've been doing this since 1989, so I have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
I came from the University of Southern California, got a degree there, then I got my MBA, and really just love working with people, creating their future, supported by finances, supported by what they really care about, and integrating both.
Okay, so when we create this budget, I will still be able to go on vacation.
Absolutely. You'll just have the certainty to know how much money you have, what kind of wonderful vacation you're going to be able to create.
And I'll still be able to buy shoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those two things are very important to me.
And what is important to you is what we want to emphasize in our budgets.
See, that's good. You know, as a lender in mortgage banking, I deal with a lot of people who, if they don't have a budget, it creates a challenge when they get ready to purchase a home. You know,
Clearly.
because they don't have in a lot of cases, the discipline, to save the amount of money that they need to put down on a home. And I also noticed that, when you don't have a budget, you don't get to take those vacations. Or if you do, it's always at risk of something else because you don't know where you are financially. You know how much money you make. You kind of have an idea of how much money is going out, but you don't really know how to segregate the monies so that they do the best for you. So today, you're going to help us do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But what you really look at when you're looking at loans and banks or business arrangements or business budgeting, financial institutions like banks love budgets. It gives responsibility. People become responsible for themselves and what really matters to them. So people can count on you for your word, for your financial integrity. And it all comes from budget, planning, and really saying what you're up for.
Exactly. And I always say, too, you feel like you have more control.
Absolutely.
You do. It gives you control over your life versus kind of letting life happen to you.
That's right. Well, first of all, it gives you, as you say, a confidence in yourself, of your resources, what you're really up for in life, and where you're going. Because you really create where you're going, what your life is all about, through what we call a budget or a spending plan.
A spending plan.
Yeah.
I like that even better.
Yeah, where do you want to spend your money?
Right.
You work hard for your money.
Absolutely.
Where do you want it to go? How can you be completely responsible for your money? Not in the, responsible like heaviness,
Yeah, negative
but
way.
like in the opportunity.
Right. To navigate
Yeah.
where your money is being spent.
Especially for people that really love other people and have a responsibility to other people. Either
Like
their
parents?
Like parents, absolutely. I mean, parents to their children. Or nowadays, children to their parents.
Right.
Because we're all growing older now.
That's right.
And that really comes to how long is your monthly, how much is your monthly money going to last you?
That's right.
Is you going to run out of money before you run out of month?
And we talked about that earlier.
Absolutely.
This is 24.
It's the 24th. Your money says it's the end of the
It's the end of
month,
the month.
and your calendar says it's the 24th. Now, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
How are you going to survive those last few days or that last week?
Well, I'm excited. Let's get started.
All right.
Okay, so what's the first thing we should do when we decide, okay, I'm going to be responsible, I'm going to create this budget that I'm going to stick to, I'm going to make my life better. How do I start?
Well, first of all, you start with a commitment. You start with a sense of reality.
Okay.
The reality is, what are my expenses? What are those expenses that you are going to pay, no matter what? That's the rent, the mortgage. Yeah.
So walk me through it, confidential.
First of all, my big recommendation is don't do it by yourself.
Okay.
Do it with a friend, do it with someone like me, a professional, that can help you, support you, empower you, make it fun and light, and also really be able to create it as a resource and a tool. Make it fun.
Okay,
A
so,
regular dialogue.
okay, so we start with the things we have to do.
Yes, like just write down, what is your winter mortgage? How much are you going to spend in food? That is grocery type food or going out food, and they're completely different.
That's a problem too.
Yes.
What I've noticed is that, going through backstage and things like that is part of my job. What I notice is that people don't realize how much they spend when they eat out.
Just take lunch. Forget dinner for a second. Let's make it easy. Lunch. Even if you go out to a fast food place, it's $10. It's $10. You can eat healthier. You can eat a third of the price by preparing and bringing a lunch. Like the old days, like I remember brown paper sacks.
Right.
I still have those brown paper sacks when I want to. And I have the freedom to go out when I want to because I plan my life.
Well, and then, and getting this budget together, you also get a chance to see
Yes.
on paper how much money you do and don't have.
You also get to acknowledge yourself for the successes that you have.
I like that approach.
Absolutely. Because listen, if at the end of the month you have that budget where it's savings, investment, what you get to have for yourself, and you see that pot growing, that's a real success.
Kind of, and it's a good feeling too.
And when you work with other people, whether it's a friend, family, or a professional coach, you have someone who can share that experience with you and really acknowledge you and really appreciate the win that you have created.
Okay, so the first thing we do is write down the debt.
Write down the debt, write down what you're spending, write down everything that's financially important, necessary, and what you want.
That's going out.
That's going out.
Everything.
Everything. And while most people doing it by themselves, that could be kind of confronting, like, where do I find all this information? Even though it's really at your fingertips.
Okay.
Even though you really deal with it every month.
That's
If
right.
you're alone in the darkness of your own mind, sometimes we're confronted, like most of the time.
That's very true. That's
Yeah.
very true. So after we write all our bills down, everything that we have to pay, and I would think you'd get a large piece of paper and just start writing.
Absolutely.
Just start writing.
Yeah.
Right?
And if you want to do a little bit of cheat sheet, you use a computer like Excel or a spreadsheet, so you can change things, you can alter it easy.
Okay.
Or if you want to do it old school, like sometimes I do, you have a pencil with an eraser, and you just change things, create it, and really predict what's going to happen. Right.
Doesn't have to be a sophisticated spreadsheet.
Not at all.
It's just a list of what your debts are and how much they are every month.
And then compare that to your income.
And you don't go by your gross income.
No.
You go by your net income. Because that's really the money you bring home. So that's what you actually have
To work with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so we know how much money we make. We know how much money we have that we're bringing home every 2 weeks or once a month or whatever the pay scale is. And then we have our debts.
That's right.
And so we compare them.
That's right. Now, at the bottom line, that is what your income is minus your expenses, you get to what I call your bottom line. What's left over, if anything's left over, or how short you are.
Right.
And then what you do is, of course, if you're short, you start getting communication. Any communication with people that you normally would spend money with. Maybe renegotiate your responsibility so they know what to count on. Know that you are in communication and being responsible.
Okay, so you're talking about like credit card debt.
Exactly.
That's usually what really puts people in a challenging position is the credit card debt.
Absolutely. Somehow banks give us huge amounts of credit lines. Like really, someone starting out in college, suddenly they have $3,000 in a bank card credit line. They've never seen $3,000 in their life, but they could go out and spend it, like in an afternoon. Absolutely.
Buy new shoes
And
that's
they
going to be into that $3,000.
That's it, except for one thing, they owe it.
That's right. So they have to make the payment.
That's right, with interest.
With interest.
And then if they miss something, the interest goes way up,
And then credit score goes
way down.
Right.
Absolutely. And then they never really knew the rules to begin with.
All right, so far, we have all of our bills written down.
Right,
We know how much money we make. We have our bottom line. We know
Right.
what's left. If there's anything left, if there's nothing left, we go back
right,
and look at the charge cards.
Right.
That's where you start. And you start negotiating with each card holder
right.
to get that payment down or
Just
you know,
be in
just
reality.
be in reality.
Exactly.
Okay, with where we are. Okay, and then once we do that, we've gotten that part sorted out, and we have something left on the bottom line. Where do we go from there? How much money?
I'm so glad you asked.
Okay.
Because that, if there is a tough part, that's the tough part.
Okay.
Then it becomes fun.
Okay.
Then we actually create where we want to go.
Okay. So we're going to talk about that. We are having lunch with the finance bunch. This is Ms. Charlene, and you're listening to Mr. Gregory Doomanis. He's a financial planner, and he's helping us get over here and creating a budget. That's what we're doing today. You can call us on 323-238-0145 with questions or comments. You can also listen on www.acceleratedradio.net and tune in every Friday with Lunch with the Finance Bunch with Ms. Charlene. So, we're going to go back and we're going to pick up where we left off. And we were talking about what do we do after we get to our bottom line? What do we do with the money we have left?
Right. That's a perfect place to go to the next level. And the next level is really creating what you want with your life. For yourself, for your family, for those people that you really care about, or the organizations like schools, like nonprofit organizations, like your churches, things that you really want to make a difference in. So, what do you want, say, for your children as far as education, as far as college? How do I fund for that? How do I look for that? What's going to be the opportunity in 15 years? What am I going to do to take care of it, to be responsible in 15 years? What do I want once I want to stop working? At what age do I want to stop working? How much money do I want to pay myself every month?
And see, that's the part that I think people don't realize they have control over.
Complete control.
Especially young people. When I say young, they're straight out of college or out of high school, or they have their own business and they're creating an income for themselves, right? And they're not really thinking about retirement.
Right.
They're really only thinking about
The now.
the now.
The Friday night.
The Friday night, the Saturday night, the party, the whatever that they do, the concerts,
Right.
whatever they do to go and have fun, they're just really concerned about, they're probably responsible, pay their bills on time,
Right.
pay their credit cards on time, but their short-term goals are to have a good time.
Absolutely.
So someone like that, we know that, once you're married and you have that child, you look at that adorable little bundle of joy, you're excited, and then between 1 and 3 years in, you're starting to worry about college.
Absolutely.
Right? And we know that, and I'd like to get to that too. But I'd like to speak to the young adult, the young
Absolutely.
person who straight out of college has some money, or straight out of high school has a job, or however they got to the job, they have a job, and they now need to know what to do with their money. Can we speak to that?
Absolutely. Well, that's actually one of the favorite types of people that I have. People with a lot of time to really design their life, to really create with their money.
Right.
Because if you have 10, 20 more years to actually develop, say, a retirement fund, where you can retire and make more money in retirement than you did while you're working, because you did what it took to be responsible for your money, that's a phenomenal life.
Now, the thing, the pushback that I hear from young people, my children included,
Yes.
okay, I'm not worried about 30 or 40 years from now. How much money do I have to put into this fund or whatever it is, to get it going so that when I do retire, I have some money? Because I'm really not focused on that. That's what young people tell me.
And by and large, that's actually accurate. The thing is, when you're young, it doesn't take that much to put aside. It's actually very easy. And the world does not leave when you leave your 20s.
Right.
And it's difficult to talk to somebody sometimes when they're using it. When I was 21, 22, I I wasn't the person that I am now.
Right, but this is the thing. But if they tell you they want to have $1 million
Absolutely.
when they turn this age,
Mhm.
you can work the math backward and tell them how much they would have to put in starting now if they're 21, 22, 23, 30.
And then they
To
become,
get to that number when they're this age, so they have a clear picture of what they're doing. Is that what you're talking about?
that's what I'm talking, the mathematics is my job.
Right.
I'll do all the mathematics, I'll do all the figuring, I'll do all the calculus, whatever it takes. And then their responsibility is just do their homework.
Okay.
If you do the homework that I assign, you're gonna be in really great shape.
Okay. Now, I did have a question come in
Yes.
from one of our listeners, and that question is, I'm great at budgeting.
Mhm.
It says, I'm great at budgeting. The problem is I don't follow my budget. I get frustrated and give up. What can I do?
I go back and don't do it by yourself. If you do it by yourself and you get frustrated, involve other people. You can involve family, friends, professionals like myself, business coaches, financial planners. There's a wealth of people that you can involve with. Now that does two things for you. You get another point of view, and also you work with somebody. That'll alleviate frustration. It'll give camaraderie and support. And, you know, I love camaraderie and support. Most people I do love camaraderie and support. You know, and then things become easy.
Yeah, and they say, oh, it's boring. I don't want to do that right now. It's not fun. I say, yeah, no, it's not sexy.
No.
There's nothing sexy about being broke either.
No,
Right?
not at all.
So just so that for young people, if they want to get started and they just want to take a look at how they can get to that $1 million that they dream about having, how would they contact you?
Well, they can call me directly. My telephone number, without that piece of paper and a pen, my telephone number is 949-510-4303.
Did you say that again?
Of course. 949-510-4303. Or they can email me. My email is my first name, Greg, G-R-E-G, at my last name, D-O-O-M as in Mary, A-N as in Nancy, I-S as in Sam, .com. That's G-R-E-G at D-O-O-M-A-N-I-S.com. And you can always see me on my website,
Okay.
www.doomanis.com.
So you make it
Very easy.
okay. And then I got another question.
Yes.
This question is another good one. It says, is there a difference between personal and business budgeting? Is there a difference between personal and business budgeting?
Absolutely. One big difference is you can actually increase the revenue or the income with business or with personal if you own a small business. So you can really concentrate and focus on both sides of the equations. Managing your expenses, but more than that, you can actually expand your income. That's why when I work with a business owner, the world is your oyster, because you can really create what you're up to, who you serve, the amount of money that you can cost to come into your business while you serve other people. And it just affects everything.
Right, because we've had small business owners on the show. We had Corey last week who was
Yes.
talking about his DJ business, and now he's expanding, and he'll have a school very soon, starting in January. And we had Claudia on, and she talked about being a personal assistant, and everybody wanted to go work with her. So we had Matthew on, he talked about his magazine, and Nathan and his small business that he has where he does organization, he organizes not just homes, but he professional buildings, people. So we've had all these small business owners on, and most of them work with you.
Absolutely.
Right? And so if you are a small business owner and you want to get control of the money that you have coming in, I think it would be a good idea for you to call Greg. Just so he can sit down with you and you can go over what your business plan is, where you'd like to see your business go, how much money you'd like to make and how much money you'd like to have when you get to an age where you think you might want to do something else, because who really retires, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, most of us don't retire because we don't have a choice to retire anymore. It's not like the old days where you work for one company for 30 years.
Got a pension.
Exactly. You
Add
have
that to your Social Security.
That's right, and you're
And
set.
you're set. There are no more pensions.
No more pensions. They're just, you need to look at teachers now. The uncertainty around CalPERS, the uncertainty about what is the future, what we used to call pension, the mergers and acquisitions of huge companies, wiping out pensions. You have to be independently responsible, because not to be is just too darn scary.
That's very true.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my commitments in life is to get rid of fear. Get rid of it. Be responsible so there's nothing fearful.
Right. Well, and when you take responsibility, you get rid of fear, and you become in control. You become empowered.
Yeah. Power. That's the key word.
We like power.
And if I'm powerful, then I can empower others.
Right. Okay. I had another question, if you don't mind my asking.
Please.
Before we go any further. It says, I have unpredictable income. How can I budget? That's a really good question, because not everyone is salaried.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people have, income where they make this much money one month, and the next month they may not make anything. What is your answer to that?
Most people that I work with, I don't care if they're small business people, actors, whether they are organizers or whatever it is, have unpredictable income. So, one of the things I do is raise that income, work with the business owners to raise that income so they are beyond scarcity, beyond just existing and being really in abundance.
Okay, so when you say you help them raise that income, what does that mean?
Well, we look at how do they get more customers? How do they keep marketing down? How do they really have control of the expenses? How do they, with all the SEO, that's the internet marketing, how do they really optimize and maximize that to really get the word out, what they offer other people, potential clients, and really bring people in so they can service their customers' needs, enlarge their business, and get them past that just existence system into abundance, so that they can not only take care of their own lives, but people that they care about, and also the community in general. Because most people, all they really want to do is make a difference.
That's true. In the lives of the people that are closest to them, and if they can, in the lives of others.
Absolutely. And my stand, my word in the matter is that everyone can have the life that they want and make the difference that they're committed to have. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get a little further down the line. So we were at the bottom line part, okay?
Right.
So we did this budget, right? And we figured out all of the things we needed to pay and how much money we had coming in. And we got to the bottom line and we made the adjustments with your help,
Right.
right? So that there was money on the bottom line.
Right.
Right? So that's the other part about this, is that if you're working with someone or you're being coached by someone or you have a financial planner, they'll help you get to a positive bottom line by making suggestions that will help you redo the bills that you have so that they make sense and you do have money left at the end of the month.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
You're right on.
Okay, so now that we have money in our bottom line, and you're going to take what is in the bottom line, and then you and I, if I were your client, are going to have a conversation about that bottom line and where I should direct it based on what I'm trying to accomplish. Is that right?
That's exactly right. And then the next step is that bottom line really becomes an expense. You pay yourself first. Because if you pay yourself first, you know you're going to get paid.
So that's where I get to buy shoes.
Not really.
Okay.
That's under the shoe budget. That's
Oh, there
different.
is a shoe
Oh,
budget.
absolutely. Who am I talking to? There's a big shoe budget.
Okay, there's a shoe budget, and we want to go on my vacation. Is that a
Of
problem?
course, that's an important budget, because if you don't take your vacation, you're not going to be who you're possibly being for yourself, your family, people you care of. You got to take care of you first.
That's true. You're right, Dee. That's your polite way, because I'm going to be cranky if I don't have my vacation time. You're right. Okay.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So we do have a category for everything that's important to you.
Okay.
and we start out with paying you first. Now, that paying you first is going to give you your future. What are you going to have down the line? Now, that may be spending on, like, your children for education.
That's right.
It may be creating a time, the 20, 30 years, you may be in retirement. And you can have that if you create it and you're responsible for it. And when you start out by asking questions, how much do you want your monthly check to be for retirement?
Okay, so if I'm 25 years old, and let's say I'm 25 or 26, and I say, Greg, I'm really not interested in all this that you guys are talking about, but I do want to have $1 million to at my disposal when I'm 50
Perfect,
and I'm 26.
perfect.
And all I have to do is come see you, and you'll help me sort all of that out?
I will
Is that what
sort
you're
it out,
saying?
I will sort it all out, and then I'm gonna answer a few questions about that $1 million.
Okay.
Is that after tax, like you can, how much of that $1 million do you really want to have control over? And most people say all of it.
I'm
I want all of
25.
it.
I want
All of it.
Yes.
Well, then we better plan for those taxes. How to optimize your position so the biggest partner you have in your retirement, that's the IRS, is satisfied, you pay your taxes,
Right.
but you have control over all of that $1 million. You limit the market risk because you're going to have some risk, but possibly not with somebody that may. And we really know that there's certainty that you're going to have that $1 million at 50, so you can do whatever you want to do. You can retire, you can be an independent business person if you want to be at 50, you can have the life you want.
And it's not going to have, my getting to that $1 million is not going to have a negative impact on my life today.
Absolutely
Because
not.
I really want to live for today,
That's right.
right? I still want to, at 25, you're still going to parties, you still want to dress really
You
nice.
do have a dating budget, don't you?
You have to have a dating budget.
Absolutely.
You can help them create a dating
Oh,
budget?
and do you know what that's going to give them with the dating budget? More dates.
I love,
More
yes.
dates, because you've got to spend that budget. I'm not going to let you go through the month and not spend your dating budget.
Well, you know what, and the other thing is, when you're young and you're dating,
Mhm.
right, and you're starting to get to know people,
Yeah.
you want to, when you finally get to that position where you're looking for the one,
Right.
you want to have good credit and you want to have a handle on your finances. You don't want to think about that when you find Mr. or Miss Right.
That's right.
And you've got all these ugly skeletons in your closet of bad debt and poor credit and low FICO scores and, investments that you've made that haven't panned out, that you're still paying for. If you're young and you get a financial coach now,
Right.
well,
Well, first of all,
it's limitless.
if you're going out with the one, Mr. or Ms. Right, you're not going to be very successful. You're hiding things, like your FICO score. If you're hiding your debt, if you're hiding your credit card scores, you want to be out there. You want to be public. You want to be scrumptiously attractive in all domains of your life.
Exactly, because you become really unattractive if
That's
you
it.
don't have those areas of your life taken care of at some point, or at least have a handle on getting to that point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's
Greg,
the all of
they
you.
need you.
Thank you. And
Could we
I,
please have your contact information again? Everyone should have a pen by now, I hope.
so my telephone number is 949-510-4303. Again, it's 949-510-4303. Or, of course, you can email me at Greg, G-R-E-G, at DOOMANIS.com. That's Greg at DOOMANIS.com.
Great. Okay, and anyone who didn't get a chance to get that information, don't panic. I'm going to give Greg a couple of chances before we go off to give his information again, so that if you want to work with him, you want to get to know better how you can get control of your budget and really put yourself in a position to be successful, not just at the end of your life, but throughout your life. And I think that's the part that we miss when we talk about planning for our future and, what do we want to do when we retire and all that. I think young people, the part that they miss is that this, of course, has something to do with their future, but we're talking about putting their life in a position where they're in charge now, from today forward. Is that what you're talking about?
That's, I
Did
just
I get it?
love the way you say that.
Thank you. I'm
Because-
getting it.
Because we're planning for the now,
For the now.
which
not
gives you
just-
not only the future that you're
Right.
committed to, but the life you have now,
Right.
the power that you have now,
I
the
love
life you have now. Like, my gosh, I know I can go out and have a good time.
Right, because my good time is in my budget.
You have the good time budget.
That's
See,
right.
what I do,
He said the good time budget.
that's it. That's it. Listen, we name our categories by things that empower us, that light us up. I don't have a food budget. I have a good time budget. And I include all the good times that I want to have now in that budget.
Okay. And I do have more questions.
Of course.
If you want to talk to people who know what they're talking about when we're talking about money.
Thank you.
Another question. Can budgeting be fun? We just talked about. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If nothing else, I create two things. Certainty and fun. I find out what's fun for you, and we make sure it's included in your life.
Okay.
People actually report to me they have more fun in life when they work with me.
Because they're in control of their life.
Absolutely.
They know where their money is at. There's nothing scarier than not knowing where your money is.
Absolutely. And plus, they have the opportunity to stop, think, figure out what they do to have fun.
I wish I knew.
Well, that was only last year.
That's true. That's right.
We still have lots of
We
time
have
to
lots
go.
of time.
I'm glad we're starting now.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Accelerated Radio. I'm Miss Charlene, and you're listening to Lunch with the Finance Fund. We have Greg in our studio, and he's talking about financial freedom, really. We're talking about budgeting, but that budgeting can give you financial freedom. I am really enjoying this conversation.
All right, thank you. And that truly is what it's all about, freedom.
Exactly.
Freedom to live your life.
And so in my budget, you have a shoe amount.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love that.
And that is important.
Of course, it's important to me.
Of course. And that's why it's important.
Exactly.
See, that's one of the things I do, is I find out what's important to you, important to the client, and we strategize around everything around that. Like that gives you where you want to live.
That's right.
What kind of home do you want? What do you want in your home? What can you have? Well, you can have whatever you want within the integrity of your work.
That's right. Which in a lot of cases makes you work harder.
Absolutely.
Because it's all written out on paper for you. So it gives you that extra motivation to do what you need to do to get to where you'd like to be.
And actually, when you do such things as action plans, that is, you have goals,
That's right.
what kind of milestones, that's kind of wins in the middle of each plan, what actions need to be taken so that you're absolutely guaranteed to have each win that you have designed.
But you're like a life coach too, right?
That's it.
Coach slash financial planner.
Absolutely.
You can get it all, one-stop shopping.
What, full service right here.
Exactly. And then when they get ready to buy a house,
Then I go to Charlotte.
that's right, and I pre-qualify them. They have great credit. They have their money saved because they have a home purchase category.
That's right.
And we're off to the races.
Well, clients of mine absolutely require professionals like yourself.
Absolutely.
Because-
And same here.
Yeah, I mean, my goodness, I do what I do, but I rely on partners like yourself to really go to the full mile so that they completely get everything that they want. And they know the rules of the game.
That's right.
You know the rules of the game of banking and to loans and all those things that even I don't know. So we so appreciate you being who you are.
Well, thank you. But you know, there's another question that came up that I wanted to find out about. So having a budget can be fun. And we're taking some of the fear out of the unpredictable income, right? Because you'll take care of that by writing down when they get paid, how much they're making, and doing
Right.
the averages and all that. You said leave the math to you.
Right, exactly.
Okay. All right, and so here's another question. Why do most budgets fail?
Mainly.
That's a good
Yeah,
question.
it is, and it's so true too. Most people who start out saying, okay, I'm gonna do what it takes and I'm gonna budget. First of all, they need to start. And then if they get past the start point, then you gotta gather all that masses of data. It occurs like a huge mountain of stuff to build.
Right.
That's why they fail. They don't get a partner. They don't work with anybody.
Well, a lot of times, you're embarrassed or
Yeah.
afraid or whatever that is.
Or they do a budget and then they never refer to it. It's like that famous business plan that people spend lots and lots and lots of money on, and it sits on a shelf.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it gathers dust, and that doesn't do anybody any good.
When I work with students,
Mhm.
I tell them we make a vision board together.
Oh,
But I tell
beautiful.
them you have to put the vision board someplace you can see it.
Yeah.
Or why have it, right? So that it visually motivates you to continue your journey.
Absolutely.
So the same thing when you have a financial plan in place or a budget, right?
Right.
You have to what?
You have to
Use
utilize it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And you have to actually not only look at it, but live it.
Right.
And then
what
you would
the-
want to revisit it, redesign it, recreate it, because you're not going to be the person who you are now in the future. You're going to have different wants, needs, requirements, you have different income, you're going to have different responsibilities. So this is like a living document.
Exactly. Because you're right, what you wanted at one age is not necessarily what you want when you get older, but you want the option.
That's
You
right.
want the ability to change your mind.
When you grow and develop yourself in life, you want everything to stay up with you as you grow and develop, including a budget, a spending plan, an 8-week cash flow projection, which is something else that we haven't even talked about.
What is an 8-week cash flow projection?
That's going 8 weeks, week by week, putting down what you're actually going to pay that week in expenses, what your income is, and then if you get to that week and you say, okay, I'm not gonna pay that bill, we put it in a different week. You get any communication if you need to the person that you're not gonna pay, or you adjust your income. Because if your income, you say, oh, no, I need to make $600 that week, and it doesn't look like I'm going to, you better get in action so that $600 shows up.
Because you see on paper
Yeah.
when you're going to need it. So that 8-week plan actually gives you foresight
That's right.
into what's coming so that you can prepare for it, or if you can't prepare for it, you can navigate your way around it.
Now compare that to getting those calls from creditors. A whole different life. You're in charge.
That's right.
You create. You're responsible. Versus, oh, I don't know who that is. I can't answer that phone.
That has to be a simple.
It has to be. It just has to be. People tell me, I need you because I just can't stand those phone calls anymore. And then we pick up our bootstrap and we get to work and have some fun. Yeah, so that's why I've done this as long as I have.
Now, can I ask you another question?
Of course.
Okay, we have a few of them.
Great.
Here's a good one.
Yes.
I'm on a fixed income. How can I budget?
Really, that's one of the most important times when you need a budget. So let's say a fixed income could be a salary. It could actually be a really healthy salary, but it's fixed. I mean, every year you may get a 2 or 3% raise, but it's pretty darn well fixed. Well, then it's really important to find out what your expenses are. Maximize your money so that you take care of all of your expenses that you design, because now you're responsible. You get to create what are your expenses of life relative to your income, and maybe actually have another budget, another category called investment. And through investments, you can actually increase your money, increase what's available to you now and in your future.
So having a fixed income isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Oh, not at all.
It's money you can count on.
okay, I have clients that have a $500,000 a year fixed income.
Okay.
I have other ones who have a $15,000 fixed income. Different lives, but in the world, in the current world of my clients, it's fixed.
Exactly.
So we want to deal with whatever reality is.
That's right. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope that you got your answer. Okay, it says, budgeting scares me. How do I start? So that's a person who might not have heard the beginning of the show.
Right.
They're saying, budgeting scares me. How do I start?
So that is the perfect thing to do. First of all, address the fear. Because most people are scared, fearful, and frightened when they do something they just haven't done before. And maybe they don't know how. So what we have said before in the show, which is I think very powerful, is don't do it yourself. Don't go in the inner darkness of your own mind and say, how do I do it? I don't know. I don't even know if I can do it. Work with somebody, whether that's a family member, a friend, or a professional like myself. A business coach, a life coach, a financial planner, somebody who can walk you through it, even make it fun, see what the uses of a budget is, a spending plan, be able to say, hey, here it is. Well, really, what's the possibilities of life? What do you really want to create? Really open up your life so that you really are headed in the direction that you want to go, have the accomplishments you want in life, and make a difference with other people as well as just living your life powerfully for yourself.
So I hope everyone has a pen by now. I want Greg to give his contact information again. Greg, would you please give us your contact information?
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. My number is 949-510-4303. Again, it's 949-510-4303. Absolutely. It's my first name, last name.com. So let me spell that out for you. GREG@DOOMANIS.com. Greg@Doomanis.com.
Great. Now, okay, at the beginning of the conversation, we talked about creating a spreadsheet
Yes.
and writing all my bills down and, doing that whole thing. Now, do you have a tool that you use that can help?
Absolutely. In
Get us
fact-
started?
Yeah, absolutely. And anybody who wants a template, that is a budget, can just email me or call me, and I'll get it to you. I'll email it to you.
Okay.
Just leave me your name.
And it's free?
And it's free. Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely.
So you'll give us a free template to use to figure all this out?
Absolutely. And it's all in Excel, so you can change the categories. You can put in the amounts that's true for you. You can work with it. You can alter it. You just use it for yourself. Make it unique to you and your life. Absolutely. It's Greg, Greg, at DOOMANIS.com. Thank you.
You're listening to Ms. Charlene. This is Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we're on Accelerated Radio and Praise, 24-hour gospel music and talk. You can call us at 323-238-0445 with questions and comments. You can also listen to us at www.acceleratedradio.net. I'm on Fridays at noon, and this is Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Greg, I'm so happy to have you here. You're teaching us how to not only save our money, but spend it too.
Absolutely.
And have control over it. And what did you say? Get out of the dark places in our mind?
That's right. That's
like
right.
that.
It's no fun inside, and it's scary.
It really is,
Yeah.
because you're in there all alone.
That's right. And who wants to be alone? Don't forget your date budget.
That's right. Date budget.
That's my favorite budget.
I hope Matthew listening.
Very great. Very great.
Daniel too.
Oh,
That's my son and my godson.
That is so fantastic. Well, they have my number. They can call me
That's
anytime.
absolutely right. Okay, so now, next, we have another part. There were some things that you said you wanted to discuss that you didn't want us to forget. And
Yeah.
say, maybe that I forgot questions that we didn't ask or things like that. What are some of the top points that you like to bring up in this last few minutes that we have together that would trigger someone to want to pick up the phone and call you?
Well, first of all, I always start at the same place.
Okay.
I want to know, I want to listen to who the client is. What are they committed to? What really lights them up? What do they care about? Who they're responsible for? I want to know about their life. And then we can create from who they want to be and who they are. So then I can bring in all the tools, all the systems, all the supports to empower them to the best life they want to have. So my first job is to listen. Listen to you. Absolutely. Absolutely. When I speak, it's to empower what you're up to.
Okay, now if I'm all excited and I'm listening to this show and I want to run over there and see you, do I grab all my pieces of paper? How do I start?
Well, first of all, you want to call me.
Okay.
Then we can give you a check-off list of what to bring, including your dreams, your ideals, what you're committed to, your responsibilities. I'll tell you what to bring. And then we'll just have a meeting. And it'll be extraordinary. We'll actually we'll get value out of that very first meeting.
Okay, now how much is this first meeting?
The first meeting actually is complimentary. Yeah. So that's where I have the honor of meeting you. Yeah, absolutely. 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 And then I'll exactly tell you what you can count on from me, what we can create, how I can support you and what you're up to.
Okay.
Okay?
That's
And
great.
that meeting may be over the phone, you may come to my office, we'll design that when we speak to each other.
Okay, so
And-
the first step is I'm so excited because
Yeah.
I'm going to get it all together.
Right.
Okay? So I'm going to not grab all the papers that I can think of.
Right.
The first thing I'm going to do is call you or email you.
Correct.
Okay? And then you're going to tell me.
I'll tell you, first of all, I'll listen to exactly what you want to create,
Okay.
what value you want to have. Then I'll give you a checkoff
Give me a
list.
checklist.
Exactly
All
what,
the things I need to bring.
exactly. Then you're going to bring them, or we're going to do it over the phone, depending on what's best. And just create value, create some structure, give you some homework to do so that you can actually go to the next level.
Then I'll be empowered.
Exactly, exactly. No,
Take
this
my
is
life
exciting.
to the next level.
That's right. I mean, I get excited about this. That's why I love doing what I do.
And you know what? I think for anyone,
Yeah.
you know, who wants to create a successful life, and that's really what this program is about.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to do the program, is because I wanted to have a way of reaching more people and talking about the things that we are afraid of, that we don't want to talk about, and that's our money.
Well, that's
and
what.
empowering us to have a life that we dream about and might be afraid to say out loud.
And that's one of the reasons I love people right to the listeners.
Well, I thank you for coming in. I really do. You are a wonderful asset to the finance team. And we want to talk a little bit more, because you have a few more minutes. And what are some of the other things that you'd like to say on my questions? And we had some great audience questions, but what are some other things that you think we should know, just in preparing for coming in to see you?
Well, we really want to concentrate not only what you are up to, what you want to create, we also want to optimize a few things. Like we want to make sure that taxes are not only paid, but how do we best address that? Yeah, there's different tools that we can do, things that people all know about, like IRAs and SEP programs and things like that, then things that are a little less known. And we'll discuss all of that that's appropriate to what your situation is. Different investment vehicles, some mid-range, some right-now investment, like emergency funds, some long-term vehicles, just all of it. Integrate it all to what's appropriate to you.
Wow. So I can basically bring my whole life to you, and you'll help me sort it out financially.
Be my honor.
Whole financial life, I can bring it to you.
Absolutely.
And you'll help me sort it out. The thing I think I like the best about this is that you're not saying I'm going to take over. You're
No.
saying you're going to empower me to make decisions that I need to make for my future.
You'll always be the captain of your own ship. You'll always be in charge. I'm here to support you.
Okay, so this isn't a takeover.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Because I wanted to make that clear to the listening audience is that we're always empowered. We only work with and want to be in communication with people who empower us and give us the ability to make the decisions in our lives that we need to make our lives successful.
Absolutely. I count my wins by my client wins.
Same here.
Yeah. If my client has a huge win in life, they're blown away with what they've accomplished, it's my honor to have, yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay, so let me see on our question sheet here. I think there's one more question. Yes. As far as personal business and budgeting, could you go a little deeper into on the business side of budgeting? So I have a small business, and I'm just getting started, and I want to come and see you. And what can you do for me as a small business owner?
That's really great. Because on the business side of it, budgeting is what you want to create for the future. Like, you don't always want to limit every single expense. Like, for instance, marketing. Marketing, you may want to put a lot of money in that expense. It may cost you money today, but it creates a whole future, a larger business, advertising, everything that's really getting the word out about what a difference your business will make to your customers and future customers.
Right, and we're not necessarily talking about large corporations.
Not at all.
We're talking about, a one-woman store, a one-man store.
Absolutely.
Or a small business of some type.
Or even in that 7-Eleven franchisee who has one unit.
Right.
Or maybe just the real estate broker who's starting out, who's been in business for 5 years and really wants to get to the next level and really wants to act personally on their business, creating their business. Like, they've been successful to the point that they've been successful in selling and buying all the real estate, but now they really want to create a business that's sustainable.
A business model.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's where I can come in to empower and support the professional.
So you not only do financial planning and coaching for people who are on their personal lives, but you also do it for the small business or the corporation or
Absolutely.
the corporate owner, but also on a small scale too. Because like you said, the 7-Eleven owner, the person
right.
who owns a tire store, the person who owns a bike shop,
Absolutely. Or
the
dentists.
coffee shop.
Yeah, dentists, attorneys, doctors. They're all independent business owners. We don't think of them like that,
That's very
but
true.
they are.
Yes, they are.
As much as, say, we are.
That's right.
So, I work with everybody because everybody has their own stake in life, has their own finances, has their own future that they want to create. And for most of us, we just want to help them out.
I think you should get that phone number.
My telephone number is 949-510-4303. Again, 949-510-4303. And my email address is greg@doomanis.com.
Wonderful. And you're listening to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. We're at Accelerated Radio Praise, 24-hour gospel music and talk. My name is Miss Charlene, and we're having lunch with the Finance Bunch. We can be called on 323-238-0445 for questions and comments. You can also listen in on www.acceleratedradio.net every Friday at noon. And I pride myself on bringing in professionals who can give us information that will make our lives more successful. And Greg is one of those people. When we're looking at it from the financial aspect today, what do we do with the money that we have? How can we creatively, empower ourselves to take what we have and take it to the next level? And I think that's really important at whatever age we're at. So the 25-year-old listening, the 30-year-old listening, the 40, 50, 60-year-old listening, it's never too early and it's never too late to get on this financial journey and make it a success. And Greg, for someone like you to help us along that road, I feel empowered.
Well, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate having the opportunity to be on your show.
I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then there was another question that came up earlier, and that was about how we, once we get to our bottom line, we take those categories and we split them up. And one of the categories that we talked about, I want you to elaborate a little bit more on in our brief time, is the investment category. So we have a little bit of money to invest in something. But we
Right.
don't know what, because it's not a lot of money. It's not millions of dollars, it could be hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, whatever the small amount is.
Right.
You know, is that something you help us build up so that we are investing in certain categories so that that will be a part of our portfolio? Is that a part of what you do?
Absolutely. We take exactly what's appropriate for you to have an investment account, or what I call a future account, and build it with all of the things that are appropriate to you. First of all, amount, because we don't want to have it so large that you have to stress about having an investment account. On the other hand, we want to have it large enough so it actually creates what you're up to. And we want to take into account all the things that threaten an investment account. Taxes, market risk, being appropriately large or small, all of it, just all the threats, take away the threats, so all you have is freedom.
Wow. So the investment part is really important. You will help us with that part too.
Absolutely.
I think that people get nervous when they talk about investing their money and where it should be invested and how it should be invested and what's going to come out on the other end.
I've been doing this since 1989, and always been thrilled. It's one of my favorite parts of my job.
Is investing.
Absolutely.
Wow. And for our personal accounts and for our personal thing, when you give us this spreadsheet that you're going to allow us to, that you're going to email to everyone
Correct.
who wants it. When we get that, if we have questions, what do we need to do? Like if I get my spreadsheet and I'm dumping all my information in it and I need a little bit more help and I'm trying to decide because I need to come and see you possibly, can I call you?
Absolutely. Call me, email me, get in contact with me, and that'd be just perfect.
Okay, so give us your email address one more time.
GREG@DOOMANIS, and my telephone number is 949-510-4303.
You know what, Frank, you have been a wonderful guest. I've enjoyed your being here. I'm sure the listening audience has too, and I'm sure they're going to get in contact with you. You're not only someone who has the information, but you're also one who is sharing the information, and we love that.
Oh, you're
Thank you
very
so
welcome.
much for being on the show. I absolutely love it. Thank you.